Hello, listeners, and welcome to this week's recording of Boomerang. Team 3 is here. My name is Jim, and your other readers are
Therine,
Nan,
Ray,
and Caroline.
Andrew is our engineer tonight, and he'll be doing the recording, and Ray will be doing the copying and the distribution. The news this week is taken with permission, of course, from the West Lothian Courier, dated Thursday the 14th of May, and we are recording this on the 14th of May. We might take the odd anecdote from the Reader's Digest, but usually Ray will have a poem or two for us at the end. As usual, this week has been divided into 4 sections, and can I remind you that when you've listened to the whole recording, please post your wallet back to us from a post box and not from the post office. So, we will start the first section with some general news.
MP gathers views on online safety for kids. Poynton to talk to locals on social media and technology. Livingston MP Gregor Poynton has announced a constituency-wide listening exercise to gather views from local people on the future of children's online safety, social media and digital technology. The initiative comes as the UK government conducts its national consultation, Growing Up in the Online World, examining proposals including minimum ages for social media access, restrictions on addictive platform features, AI chatbots, mobile phone use in schools, and wider online protections for children. As part of the consultation, Mr. Poynton will host a public drop-in listing event at his Livingston constituency office on Friday, May the 15th from 2 p.m. until 3 p.m, allowing parents, young people, teachers and local residents to share their views directly. An accompanying online survey is also being launched to gather feedback from across the constituency. The survey will remain open until Monday, May the 22nd, with responses from both the event and survey helping to inform submissions to the UK government consultation. Mr. Poynton said, "Technology and social media are now a huge part of young people's lives. They bring opportunities to learn, connect and create, but many parents, teachers and young people also have genuine concerns about online harms, addictive features and the impact excessive screen time can have on well-being and education." This consultation is an important opportunity for local people to help shape future policy and ensure the voices of families, schools and young people in the Livingston constituency are heard directly by government. I want to hear from parents, carers, teachers, youth organisations and young people themselves about how we strike the right balance, protecting children online while making sure they can still benefit from the opportunities technology provides. The consultation is considering measures including minimum age requirements for social media, restrictions on infinite scrolling and autoplay features, stronger age verification, limits on risky online functionalities, mobile phone policies in schools, and support for parents and digital literacy. People wishing to contribute can attend the listening event in person by emailing gregor.poynton.me@parliament.uk.
Dad trapped in family home after paralysis. A disabled dad who was fit and adventurous before a stroke 9 years ago left him paralysed has been trapped upstairs in his family home for years. Thomas McAllister's family blames systemic failures for the 66-year-old's diminishing quality of life. In 2017, Thomas, then aged 57, suffered a stroke while behind the wheel of his car after a fishing trip near Lockerbie. The dad of two was rushed to Dumfries and Galloway Royal Infirmary before being transferred to St John's Hospital in Livingston, where he spent 3 months recovering. The tragic stroke left the left side of Thomas's body paralysed. Now his speech is very little, and he can only feed himself independently if the food is cut up small. His wife, Claire, daughter, Krisharon, and son, Byron, have become his full-time carers. The family's life has never been the same, says wife Claire, 62, who is living in constant fear. Speaking to Glasgow Live, Claire told of the family's heartache amid a rehousing struggle, with their home in Harthill no longer suitable for Thomas's needs. Claire said, "Before falling ill, Thomas lived an active life. He liked to keep himself busy. Now he is bedbound and for the past 5 years has been trapped in his upstairs bedroom after the stair lift we had installed was removed as it was no longer safe for transfers. It is absolutely heartbreaking. He is completely isolated. It's soul-destroying." In May 2025, Thomas fell seriously ill and contracted sepsis. A 999 call was made immediately by a doctor who assessed him at home. However, the family claim it took crews over 3.5 hours to remove him from the property, during which time he suffered 3 cardiac arrests. Claire, who sleeps on a mattress on the floor next to her husband's bed, say the family are living in constant fear of another life-threatening incident as there is no safe evacuation route for her husband. The family have lived in their Harthill home for about 30 years, but now require a single-storey property with enough space for Thomas's hospital bed and equipment. Claire continued, "A new home all on one level would be life-changing for us. It would eliminate so many problems. Thomas requires 24-hour care. Someone needs to be nearby in case of emergencies, or to hear him should he need anything. It is understood that North Lanarkshire Council offered the family a newly built property in June 2024. However, it was declined as it did not meet Thomas's needs and, according to Claire, had stairs. Boyd has not been outside in 5 years. He has missed hospital appointments and has been advised to only attend in emergencies," Claire added. And son Byron said his dad's mental health has deteriorated significantly. He has little or no stimulation. The family blame systemic failures for Thomas's decline in livelihood and claim communication has broken down with the council's housing and social work teams. A council housing project delivering 26 new homes for the local community is currently underway. One property will be a 4-bedroom bungalow, a home which would be suitable for the McAllisters, who have been on the housing list for several years. Though, despite inquiring, the family claim they were told that the property, which is due to be complete by January 2027, is already earmarked for someone else. The setback has left Claire and her children heartbroken. North Lanarkshire Council confirmed that the McAllister family have been offered a flexible care package, but Claire insists on caring for her husband at home. A spokesperson for North Lanarkshire Council said, "We recognise this is a difficult situation for Mr McAllister and his family, and our priority is to work with them to find a solution that meets the assessed needs as quickly as possible." Mr McAllister requires highly adapted wheelchair-accessible accommodation. A newly built property which met these needs was offered in June 2024. However, this was declined by the family. We continue to work closely with them. However, the request for a 4-bedroomed bungalow-style property significantly limits the options available, as this type of accommodation is extremely scarce. Despite this, we are actively exploring both existing housing and new build opportunities to find a suitable solution. Our social work team have also offered support, advice, and a flexible care package, but the family have chosen not to take this up and prefer to manage care themselves at present.
Social enterprise returning to its roots after relocation. An award-winning Scottish social enterprise which makes all-weather coats has relocated its manufacturing base to West Lothian. Since being founded in 2022, the Outsiders handmade outdoor coats and changing robes have been popular with the likes of wild swimmers, hill walkers, campers and equestrian enthusiasts. The Community Interest Company, CIC, reinvests profits from sales into the production and donation of sleeping coats for the UK's homeless and rough sleepers. To date, more than 400 coats have been handed out free of charge to those most in need. All garments had previously been manufactured in Dumfries, but West Lothian-born founder John Keogh has returned to his roots to establish a new headquarters in Pomfeston. The workshop involves a cutting table, sewing machine, embroidery machine and seam sealer, all based under the one roof, under the creative guidance of new master seamstress Tony Lee Hogarth from East Calder. Having been born in West Lothian and spent my whole life in the area, I'm delighted to be able to bring something positive to my own community, said John, who was formerly the head of engineering at Jabal Electronics in Livingston. Bringing Tony in has allowed us to continue with our ethos of ethically hand-making all our garments in Scotland, purchasing our materials from only UK suppliers, which we are very proud of, and we are supporting our local community. Handmade in Scotland isn't just a label for us, it's a commitment, and keeping craftsmanship alive sits at the heart of everything we do at the Outsider. When our original tailor, Stephen, retired, we were lucky to find Tony, a highly skilled master seamstress. With Stephen's guidance, she effortlessly stepped into making our coats, continuing the same level of quality and craftsmanship. Our commitment to quality means using premium materials and traditional techniques, combined with innovative design, to create a product that truly makes a difference in people's lives. Moving our manufacturing to West Lothian makes it even more special, as this is where I've lived my whole life. Producing our garments here feels like a full circle moment. John, who was voted Local Hero 2024 in the Mid-Lothian East Lothian Business Awards for his work helping the homeless, added, "Working in this industry has shown me that garment manufacturing is becoming a dying craft in Scotland. Many businesses move production overseas as it's cheaper. For me, keeping it here in Scotland matters so much more. It means supporting local skills, creating jobs in our community and investing in the place I call home. Every coat we make carries more than warmth. It carries compassion and purpose too."
Firm Foundation as pupils fundraise for Malaysia trip. Pupils from Rounchborough Academy have secured a £5,000 fundraising boost from the Hunter Foundation towards a once-in-a-lifetime marine conservation education experience in Malaysia in summer 2027. The 13-night experience will give pupils the opportunity to immerse themselves in Malaysian culture while developing an in-depth understanding of global challenges, including climate change and marine conservation. They will participate in hands-on projects that leave a positive impact on the planet before taking what they have learned back to West Lothian so that other pupils can benefit. To support their participation in the 2027 World Challenge, the pupils have a busy year of fundraising planned, including bake sales, race nights, car washes, a ceilidh, sponsored bike rides and bingo evenings. However, their efforts have been kick-started by the Hunter Foundation, which has pledged to match the first £5,000 raised by the school with a further £5,000 donation. Emma, one of the pupils set to take part, said, "We're all really grateful to the Hunter Foundation for their support. I'm ecstatic that we already have such a great head start towards our fundraising goal. I've actually never been abroad, so I'm really excited about taking part in this trip and learning about different cultures around the world. I think the trip will give us the chance to gain knowledge about a different part of the world," explained pupil Tegan. "I am really interested in learning about the different cultures and environments. The donation from the Hunter Foundation makes the expedition feel real. It has allowed us to believe it's possible." Fellow pupil Kavi added, "I'm really excited that our fundraising journey has begun, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what else we can achieve. I think the trip will be great for building independence and learning more about taking responsibility." Winchbury Academy teacher Johnny Mitchell said, "Our pupils have been working so hard to fundraise for our Malaysian Challenge, which promises to be a life-changing opportunity for our young people. Huge thanks to the Hunter Foundation for their invaluable support towards this." Winchborough Academy opened in August 2022 and is part of a new state-of-the-art education campus in Scotland's fastest-growing town. The lead master planner, Winchborough Developments Limited, has committed ongoing investment in the area as part of its infrastructure-first approach to community planning. And there's a really super photograph of some of the children involved in a car wash.
Your invite to go with Bumps, Babies and Beyond. Young families across West Lothian are invited to come along to Bumps, Babies and Beyond, a new free event designed specially for mums-to-be and families with children under the age of 3. Hosted by Fiona Duncan, owner of Heartbeats West Lothian, it will take place at Livingston's Deer Park Golf Course on Sunday, July the 5th from noon until 2 p.m. The fun event aims to help families navigate pregnancy and early parenthood by introducing them to a wide range of support networks and trusted local suppliers. It also provides a welcoming space for parents and parents-to-be to meet and share experiences. Fiona, there is a picture of Fiona with one of the children, said, "As the mum of 2 little ones, I remember feeling a bit lost and not knowing where to start looking for mum groups, both before and after my daughter was born. It was so daunting, and I relied on friends with babies to point me in the right direction. Thankfully, I found Heartbeats and fell in love with the classes. I wanted to create this special event as a one-stop shop for pregnant mums and families with little ones so they can find out about some of the wonderful resources in our local area." She added, "It's going to be a relaxed and informal couple of hours. I really hope in time it will become a valuable hub for families at the very start of their parenting journey, offering helpful advice, encouragement and reassurance.
Hotel conversion fails to get council support. Plans to convert an office block into a hotel on a Livingston industrial estate have been knocked back. Mumtaz Hussain had applied for planning permission to convert the disused building he owns into a short-term hotel with 22 bedrooms. But councillors on West Lothian's Development Management Committee agreed with planning officer Gillian Caiaphas, who told the meeting, "This is simply not the right place for a hotel." Mr Hussain, earlier this year, won an appeal to the Scottish Government to convert the former farm food store in central Bathgate into a short-term let hotel, despite objections from local councillors. The new plan for One Muir Place in the middle of Houston Industrial Estate in northern Livingston had received 7 objections from villagers in nearby Pumferson, who suggested the building would be used as a short-term hotel for homeless or migrants. However, there were 5 letters of support from businesses and a petition of around 100 names backing the plan. Mr Hussain said the hotel would cater for contractors working in the area for short periods. He said that concerns about parking were not an issue as he owned 120 spaces around the building. He told the committee, "The building has been empty since 2024. It has been actively marketed and there has been no takers. There is no demand for office space due to the changes in working practice. Do we leave the building empty and do we allow it to bring something that is really needed?" Writing in support of the application, Mr Amar Yassir said, "As a business currently operating within the estate, I am fully aware of the challenges faced by companies who regularly bring contractors, engineers and visiting staff to Livingston for short-term work. At present, there is a clear lack of convenient overnight accommodation within the estate itself, which often results in inefficient travel arrangements and additional costs for local businesses." Planners said, "The site lies within an area of employment land suitable for a variety of commercial and industrial uses, and the conversion of the building to hotel use would remove the availability of the unit for suitable employment use." They added, "It has not been satisfactorily demonstrated that there is no reasonable or realistic demand for the retention of the existing premises. In addition, commercial uses such as an hotel should be directed to town centres where they can be adequately served by sustainable transport and where customers can access a variety of services." There were also concerns raised about heavy traffic on the estate, especially HGVs, something which was noted by councillors who had attended a site visit earlier this week. Councillor Pauline Clark said she could appreciate why the applicant would want to have accommodation close to the industrial area, but said, "I was just thinking about those lorries flying past us yesterday. I know that roads didn't have a problem with the application, but I think it is an accident waiting to happen. If the hotel were full and all the car parking spaces were taken up, it could be really quite chaotic. I don't think it's the place for this. The idea is good, but I just think the location is wrong. Thinking about the health and safety of the people who might be using it, I don't think I can support it." Fellow SNP councillor Willie Boyle said, "Conversion to a hotel would still mean the site was used as employment land," and added, "There are parking issues anywhere. I'm struggling to find reason to reject this," he told the meeting. Councillor Tony Boyle said, "I agree with Councillor Clark. It's the right thing in the wrong place." Councillor Tom Conn said that the industrial estate was vibrant and questioned the need to convert the office block. He cited changes to industrial and business areas, such as the Gyle in Edinburgh, which had seen former office blocks razed and replaced. Chair of the DMC, Councillor Harry Cartmel, said he had some sympathy with the hotel plan, but echoed the concerns of fellow councillors around the traffic and backed the planner's objections and recommended refusal. The committee backed this motion. An alternative amendment from Councillor Boyle failed to attract a seconder.
Dental practice could open after 8 years. A West Lothian town may soon have its own dental practice, 8 years after the purpose-built surgery opened. Blackburn residents have had to travel elsewhere. The nearest surgeries are in Bathgate, despite brand new facilities available in the local partnership centre. NHS Lothian has struggled to find a dentist, a search made more difficult by the COVID pandemic, to lease the space. The move comes 2 years after the then local councillor raised concerns. The new contract tender notes NHS Lothian is seeking expressions of interest from any parties interested in leasing the space for dental premises in Blackburn Partnership Centre. The Blackburn Partnership Centre serves a geographical area that includes both Blackburn and Seafield, with a combined population of around 8,000. Both areas have growing population and areas of deprivation. There are some complex issues associated with this high level of deprivation, including low education and employment levels, poor health and life expectancy. The medical practice within the Blackburn Partnership Centre currently has around 7,800 registered patients, and the catchment area for a dental practice, over and above Blackburn itself, has the potential to include Seafield, East Whitburn and Wester Inch. The local MP, Kirstine Sullivan, was the ward councillor for Blackburn when she first raised the issue in May 2024. As the Local Democracy Reporting Service highlighted in 2024, a dental surgery space has yet to see its first patient or even dentist in a West Lothian village 6 years after it opened. At the time, Councillor Sullivan said, "Despite space set aside, a dental practice has never been secured at the centre, leaving local residents to travel out with the village to Bathgate, Whitburn and beyond to access vital dental services." Councillor Sullivan said that, with a dedicated space in the heart of the community, Blackburn residents should have access to a dentist within the village. She added, "The council understands that the process for securing a dental practice has been delayed for various reasons, including the COVID pandemic." A motion raised by the then councillor was passed by the council. It adds, "In West Lothian, the public dental service covers unscheduled care out of hours, special care and paediatrics from Howden Health Centre and St John's Hospital. NHS Lothian wishes to select a general dental practitioner partner to lease this space with the capacity and capability to meet the needs of patients by delivering high-quality, patient-centred clinical services in a primary care setting, in accordance with the requirements below. It will be important
the applicants involved in the planning and or delivery of existing services can demonstrate that they have sufficient capacity so as not to prejudice delivery of general dental services under any other contract an applicant may have with NHS Lothian or another health board, or the ability of NHS Lothian itself to deliver services.
Marathon man hailed. A team member of Specsavers Linlithgow has raised more than £1,600 for the Alzheimer's Society after running the Manchester Marathon. Damien Kelly, who works at the Regent Centre store, took part in the 26-mile challenge to raise funds for the charity in memory of his father-in-law, who passed away with dementia in 2023. Damien, who is married to store partner Diane Kelly, completed the route after months of preparation and raised £1,647 through a Just Giving page, smashing his initial £500 goal. To support Damien's monumental marathon challenge, the wider team hosted an in-store bake sale, selling homemade cakes, brownies and other sweet treats to raise money for the Alzheimer's Society. Alzheimer's Society is the UK's leading dementia charity, funding research, providing support services and campaigning for better care, with the funds raised by the Specsavers Linlithgow team helping to improve lives, advance treatments and work towards a cure. Diana Kelly said, "I'm incredibly proud of Damien for taking on this phenomenal fundraising challenge, all in memory of my father, who tragically died with dementia in October 2023. It was fantastic to see him complete this colossal marathon in Manchester, and lovely to see the full team get involved and raise more funds through the bake sale. We're hugely grateful to all our family, friends and customers who kindly donated." And there's a lovely picture of Damien with his son Aidan.
And that takes us to the end of part 1, and we'll be back with part 2 very shortly. Welcome back to part 2, and we'll start part 2 with the intimations. And I'm afraid it's always deaths. First one, Dr. David Baird of Peebles. Dr. David Baird passed away peacefully at home on May the 5th, 2026, aged 86 years. Beloved husband of Evelyn, much loved father to Margaret, Gordon, Alison and Caroline. Grandfather to Duncan, Hamish, Finlay, Amelia and Cameron, and brother to Sarah. There's a private burial at David's own request. Barlow Elizabeth, known as Betty. 2nd of June 1939 to the 1st of May 2026. Peacefully at Tippett Hill Hospital on Friday the 1st of May 2026, Betty, aged 86 years, beloved wife to the late Arthur, cherished mother to Janice, Keith and Shirley Ann, treasured grandmother to Ariana and Ashton, and a dear friend and neighbour. She will be deeply missed by all who knew her. And that's all the intimations we had, so we'll go back on to some news.
Young people can help fight online hatred. The NSPCC is asking West Lothian youngsters to put themselves forward to join their campaigning group, The Voice of Online Youth. The organisation is looking to recruit up to 20 young people aged 12 to 15 from across the UK to join the group. This is an incredible opportunity for youth from all backgrounds who have an interest in the digital world to be at the heart of the charity's online safety campaign and work to make the internet safer for children across the country. Having young people's voices and experiences heard and recognised is one of the main driving forces behind the NSPCC achieving its goal that every child is safe online, can enjoy age-appropriate online experiences, and help to ensure tech companies are held accountable for making their platforms safe for children. Members of the Voice of Online Youth will enable the charity to amplify children's voices and experiences and help keep others safe online. They will meet with key decision makers, help influence policies, laws and regulations, share their experiences and opinions, and help tackle online safety issues. No previous experience is required, just a passion for making the online world safer for children and young people. Membership will run for 18 months, and successful applicants will need to attend online sessions and workshops every month, with some in-person meetings. The NSPCC will cover the cost of travel, accommodation, and expenses for regional and national meetings. Child Safety Online Senior Project Officer Adam Dement, who runs the Voice of Online Youth, said, "Children and young people can teach adults so much about the online world. The more we listen to their experiences, the safer we can make the online world for young people." You will find more details on the NSPCC website, and applications for this post close on May the 22nd.
Shop worker will take on a new lease of life. A West Lothian man who worked in retail has decided to take on a new venture after 10 years. Sam Every worked at a hardware shop in Edinburgh before getting an urge to try something different. The 37-year-old had the mindset that having a job was just to pay the bills. However, he decided to make a change. He noticed a difference in his mood and had a conversation with his wife to establish what brings him joy. Due to his love for animals, Sam has started his own dog walking business, Good Vibrations Dog Walks, after taking the leap to become self-employed. Speaking to Edinburgh Live, he said, "I was working in a hardware shop in Edinburgh. It was only about 2 weeks ago that I decided to try something different. I have been working there for about 10 years. I always had the mindset of a job was just for paying the bills, and it shouldn't really be enjoyable. Recently, I've just not been feeling myself, which led to a conversation with my wife, who is a business coach. She asked what brings joy to my life, and the first thing I thought of was dogs, because I have 3 of my own. I just decided to give dog walking a try. We put together a structure, a plan, to see how it would work, with both of us being self-employed. We started with listing pros and cons, and the pros list was massive. I mean, we will have less money for a while, but I just think I'll get so much more out of life this way. My mindset has totally changed. It's been a busy couple of weeks, but I feel so much better already, and I've got something to look forward to. Sam will mainly do dog walking around West Lothian and the surrounding areas. He may also do pet sitting too." He added, "I can't have pets at my house, unfortunately, because I do have 3 labs, so it's quite a full house already, but I'm happy to go around to other people's houses and look after their dogs, you know. I'll probably do cat visits as well. I'm feeling confident because after our post on social media, I've already had a couple of inquiries, so I'm just trying to build up a clientele as well. I think if people have doubts, they should just go for it. I have put it off for a couple of years, thinking it won't work. My wife is a business coach, and when we were sitting down to talk about it, she started listing the pros and cons to see what was stopping us. You shouldn't just be staying in a job that you aren't happy in because it's paying the bills. My wife, Zara, also has a couple of nail art studios. She's been such a huge support to me. You can find out more about the couple's business ventures on their Instagram accounts, Good Vibrations Dog Walks and Meant for More Creatives.
Appeal to Holyrood over plans. The owners of a West Lothian industrial site have appealed to the Scottish Government after access plans were rejected by councillors. They say that planners' rejection of a second road onto the Five Sisters Industrial Park stalls development potential. The Development Management Committee, DMC, knocked back proposals in March for a new access road from the northern side of the site, which sits in the shadow of the Five Sisters Bing at West Calder. They agreed with planning officers that the access point off the narrow Westwood Road would see destruction of mature hedgerow and bring heavy traffic onto a narrow rural road. Now, JJ Land Purchases, which owns the estate, has appealed to Scottish ministers to overturn the local decision. Agents for the company have lodged papers with the Division of Planning and Environment Appeals, DPEA, arguing ecology and diversity concerns could be addressed and enhanced by new planting. In a report to the DPEA, Pegasus Consultancy said, "The introduction of a new secondary access to serve the site will assist with delivery of a long-standing allocation based on market feedback which has raised concerns with the existing single point of access into Five Sisters Business Park and lack of emergency access provision." The consultancy added, "The proposal will allow for design flexibility for this site of 15 acres and offset perceived risk to allow for investment in wider site infrastructure and preparation works." The appeal stressed that planning officers accepted proposals to enhance the environment through replanting, adding, "Ecology and biodiversity requirements can be addressed through replacement planting of hedgerow and biodiversity enhancements for protected and local species, as had been agreed with the case officer during application process." The application site is part of an allocated employment site that lies within the employment boundary for the existing Five Sisters Business Park. The proposal involved the creation of a new access point at the eastern boundary of the allocated site from a quiet local road that runs south from the B7015. This road is bordered on both sides by a well-established mature hedgerow and is primarily used to access two business premises and agricultural land. The land immediately to the west of the proposed access point is currently in active agricultural use. Councillors had voiced concerns about the increase in heavy traffic along Westwood that a new access road would bring. The committee chair, Councillor Harry Cartmill, had questioned why the planned access road had been positioned away from a wider and more obvious access point on the road. Papers presented to the DMC this week advised that the appeal will go ahead and the council will lodge its own response when a reporter is appointed to decide the appeal.
Venue granted licence variation. A West Lothian music venue which helped Lewis Capaldi launch his incredible career could now open the door to fresh talent. Purple Orange Arts Venue in the heart of Bathgate has been granted a variation of its licence to allow greater access for young people. The venue hopes the change will help to boost income with opening hours through the day to allow it to host birthday parties and other family events. It also opens the venue up to potentially more music tuition days for young people. Purple Orange has a well-established reputation as a small but popular music venue in the town, which has a reputation for a vibrant nighttime economy. An agent for Purple Orange, which sits in Bathgate's Union Road, told a meeting of West Lothian Licensing Board that the small venue, which has been operating for the last 11 years, was a showcase for young talent. He added, "They have had an enviable list of performers, not least Lewis Capaldi, who cut his teeth on that stage before going on to international stardom." The agent explained that the variation would allow greater use of the venue out with usual hours. The building is principally used for performance from 7 to 11 p.m. A variation could open up the venue for daytime events such as birthday parties and music sessions open to children and young people ages 16 and 17. The variation will allow the venue to open at midday. It is currently also used for music tuition 3 days a week, and this could extend to a Saturday. The board sought clarifications around children and young people's access to the venue. The agent said his clients were happy to qualify with the clarifications.
Venue plan defeated by committee. A bid by West Lothian's opposition group to restore meetings in local public venues has been defeated by a Conservative casting vote. SNP councillors voted against proposals to alternate venues of a local area committee to include the Civic Centre Council chambers. Now they say the decision to stop broadcasting meetings justifies a return to community venues to allow the public to attend. The council is expected to stop broadcasting or recording meetings from the Civic Centre chambers later this year, following a vote at the budget in February. Councillor Mike Carlin told the latest meeting of Broxburn, Uphall and Winchborough Local Area Committee, "My first LAC was last year. It was yourself," referring to Conservative chair of the committee, Councillor Angela Doran-Timpson, who suggested that alternate meetings be held in the council chambers instead of in the community. The argument put forward was that the meetings would be broadcast. This Labour/Conservative coalition decided to stop all live broadcasting so that argument no longer holds water. I propose we return to hold all meetings within the community to allow all local groups to attend the LACS. Councillor Doran-Timpson agreed that she had pushed forward the proposal for alternate meetings in the chambers for the reason they could be broadcast. Other council venues used for the local area committees, such as Strathbrock Partnership in Broxburn, do not have broadcast facilities. The local area committees meet every 6 to 8 weeks. It gives the 4 ward councillors in Broxburn the chance to hear ward-related information from the police and fire service, as well as localised information from council officers on services in the ward. On a casting vote by Councillor Doran-Timpson, the committee voted on the move. I feel that it was fair the decision was made and it still stands. She pointed out that at this year's budget debate, no party proposed saving the broadcast of meetings. The axing of the service, the council says, will save £51,000 a year. Public consultation revealed little support for the broadcasting and few people tune in to meetings. Ironically, the 4-hour budget meeting in February maintained around 40 viewers for the entire proceedings. Most meetings have fewer than a handful. Supporting Councillor Carlin's motion for a return to community venues, Councillor Janet Campbell, the SNP group leader, said, "The SNP group were under the impression that the meetings would still be recorded and would still be available. We were extremely disappointed that this will not be the case." She added, "Democracy is best served as close to the people as possible. People in our community will no longer be able to attend." In a vote, the SNP motion was defeated with the support of Labour councillor Tony Boyle and another casting vote from councillor Doran Timpson.
Hotel group to pay fuel costs of their guests. One of the UK's most popular independent hotel groups will help guests with their travel fuel costs as rising global prices continue to impact the holiday market. McDonald Hotels and Resorts, which operates the 4-star Houston House Hotel in West Lothian, will offer guests up to £25 towards fuel to support the cost of travelling by car to its destinations. The initiative is thought to be one of the largest of its kind in Britain, with 29 destinations set to benefit from the scheme. Fuel prices in the UK have surged significantly since the start of the year, driven by geopolitical uncertainty, with the cost of filling a family car rising by approximately £14 for petrol and over £26 for diesel. Increasing travel costs for overseas holidays, alongside ongoing global instability, are expected to further strengthen demand for staycations. Guests booking 2 or more nights at Houston House Hotel will be eligible to receive up to £25 towards fuel. In addition to the fuel contribution, guests at hotel destinations will also receive an extra £25 voucher to be redeemed on food and drink at the hotel destination, delivering an additional cost of living benefit for travellers. Hugh Gillis, Chief Executive Officer at McDonald Hotels and Resorts, said, "Once again, we are seeing significant volatility in the global energy market, which continues to place pressure on household budgets across the UK. By helping to offset the cost of travel, we are making it easier for guests to enjoy high-quality breaks closer to home without the added financial strain of rising fuel prices. This initiative reflects our ongoing commitment to supporting our guests and ensuring that a staycation remains an accessible and attractive option, even in uncertain economic times." The initiative is now live and is available exclusively on bookings made directly via the website. Guests will receive a unique QR code within 14 days of their visit that gives access to their fuel credit. As part of the campaign, McDonald Hotels and Resorts is also launching a competition to give one lucky winner the chance to win a free overnight stay at selected properties, as well as £250 towards their fuel. For more details, guests should visit www.instagram.com for McDonald Hotels and Resorts.
Slimmers send in old clothes to raise cancer charity cash. Hundreds of West Lothian residents are celebrating life-changing weight loss by giving something back to others. donating the clothes they no longer need to help fund cancer research. Members of Slimming World groups across Livingston, East Calder, Broxburn, Blackburn, Bowness, Whitburn, Armadale and Bathgate have raised an impressive £34,075 for Cancer Research UK after donating 1,363 bags of unwanted clothing, shoes and accessories. The donations were collected as part of the Big Slimming World Clothes Throw, a nationwide campaign which encourages members to pass on the clothes which they slimmed out of while supporting life-saving research. For many members, the event marked far more than a wardrobe clear-out. Slimming World consultant Murray Cosgrove said, "The campaign is always an emotional and uplifting moment in group sessions as members reflect on just how far they've come. It's incredible to see the confidence grow in people as they realise that old clothes no longer fit," she said. "When you're losing weight, it's easy to focus only on the number on the scales, but there are so many other victories happening too. Fitting into smaller sizes, feeling healthier and more confident, and doing things people may not have felt able to do before." The clothes throw celebrates all of those moments. Members are donating bags of clothes knowing they won't need them again because they've made healthy changes they can maintain for life. That's a huge achievement. As well as raising money for Cancer Research UK, the campaign also highlights the link between maintaining a healthy weight and reducing cancer risk. Research shows that overweight and obesity are linked to 13 different types of cancer and are the second biggest preventable causes of cancer in the UK. Nicola Brown, Slimming World consultant, added, "Being overweight doesn't mean someone will definitely develop cancer, but we know maintaining a healthy weight can reduce the risk of a number of health conditions, including some cancers. I'm very proud of our members and proud that our groups can support Cancer Research UK and the vital work they do." Slimming World has partnered with Cancer Research UK for more than a decade, raising over £30 million through campaigns including the Big Slimming World Clothes Throw and the charity's Race for Life events. Last year alone, Slimming World members, consultants and staff raised £3.1 million for the charity, and organisers hope this year's campaign will raise even more. For more information on your nearest Slimming World group, visit www.slimmingworld.co.uk or call 0344 897 8000.
More help needed for the elderly. West Lothian will see a growing demand for mental health officers as the population ages. Mental health officers, MHOs, are qualified social workers trained to work with and ensure the rights of people incapacitated or vulnerable through failing mental health. Counsellors on the Social Work and Health PDSP heard that the Council has a statutory duty to employ staff to administer the Adults with Incapacity Act administering guardianships. A welfare guardianship order is a court-appointed authority for someone to make personal, medical and care decisions for an adult 16+, unable to do so due to incapacity. Primarily used for ongoing care needs, it is granted by a sheriff to family, friends or local authorities to ensure decisions meet the adult's best interests under the Act. Mental health officers in West Lothian also carry out local authority responsibilities relating to the supervision of private welfare guardian appointed under the Adults with Incapacity Act, as well as delegated duties on behalf of the Chief Social Work Officer when the local authority itself is appointed as welfare guardian. Currently, there are approximately 510 active welfare guardianship orders in West Lothian, of which around 430 are held by private individuals and 80 by the Chief Social Work Officer. A report to the PDSP detailed the current staffing levels. The MHO team, comprising a manager, 10 MHOs and 1 community care assistant, carries out the majority of MHO work across the local authority. The team also includes an MHO based within the Integrated Discharge Hub at St John's Hospital. This role is primarily focused on progressing applications for welfare guardianship that are required to enable timely discharge from hospital. There is a satellite MHO pool of 6 MHOs who undertake MHO duties under the Mental Health Act in addition to their core duties as team managers / social workers within various practice teams across the council. The Social Care Emergency Team, the SCET, undertake MHO duties out with office hours and at weekends. There are 3 MHOs employed by SCET, with a number of locum supply MHOs also providing cover. In his report, Mark McElwraith, the team manager, said, "Statistics show that the number of guardianship orders granted in West Lothian during the 24-25 reporting period is the highest on record. This rise is due in part to the increased volume of renewal applications, reflecting the time-limited nature of most guardianship appointments. Given the projected population demographics in West Lothian in relation to adults aged 75 plus, it is expected that trends in relation to increased demand for MHO services related to the AWI Act will likely continue." A report by West Lothian's Health and Social Care Partnership last year highlighted West Lothian is projected to see one of the highest increases in pension age individuals in Scotland at 19.5% between 2022 and 2032. The number of people aged 75 and over is projected to grow by approximately 30% to 39% by 2028 to 2032. The 65 to 74 age group is expected to increase by around 19% by 2028. Councillor Veronica Smith asked, "Is there a waiting list for referrals?" "There is no waiting list in terms of allocation of officers or waiting lists," said Mr McElwraith. Answering questions on training from Councillor Moira McKee-Schemilt, Mr McElwraith said there was an ongoing training programme to bring new officers on board each year. In his report, he concluded, while recent improvements in staffing levels have enabled strong performance and responsiveness, the unpredictability of future demand shaped by demographic change and evolving legislative responsibilities means that sustained investment, robust workforce planning and ongoing service development remain essential.
And that brings us to the end of part 2. We'll be back with part 3. Get yourself ready for the quiz shortly. Welcome back to part 3. And part 3, as you well know, is the pub quiz. And we have 6 questions, and I'll give you the questions and the possible answers. So here goes. Question 1. What part of his body did David Grohl of the Foo Fighters break at a show in Sweden in 2015? Was it his shoulder blade, his arm, or his leg? Question 2. The adjective saurian relates to what type of creature? A lizard, an elephant, or a monkey? Question 3. How many contestants appeared in the first episode of Channel 4's The Great British Bake Off? Was it 14, 12 or 10? Question 4. Which actor starred as Jeffrey the Dude Lebowski in the 1998 film The Big Lebowski? Was it Jeff Bridges, Steve Buscemi, or John Goodman? Question 5. In which country in 1745 did the Battle of Prestonpans take place? Was it Scotland, England, or Wales? And question 6. In which 2017 film does actor Michael Keaton star as Stan Hurley? Is it Dunkirk, The American Assassin, or The Mummy? We will be back with the answers in part 4. Welcome back to part 4, and we'll start part 4 with the answers to the pub quiz. And here we go. Question 1. Which part of his body did Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters break at a show in Sweden in 2015? And the options were shoulder blade, arm or leg, and the answer was leg. Question 2. The adjective saurian relates to which type of creature? Was it a lizard, an elephant, or a monkey? And the answer is lizard. Question 3. How many contestants appeared in the first episode of Channel 4's The Great British Bake Off? 14, 12, or 10? And the answer is 12. Question 4. Which actor starred as Jeffrey the Dude Lebowski in the 1998 film The Big Lebowski? Was it Jeff Bridges, Steve Buscemi, or John Goodman? And the answer is Jeff Bridges. Question 5. In which country in 1745 did the Battle of Prestonpans take place? Was it Scotland, England, or Wales? And the answer, as you well know, was Scotland. And question 6. In which 2017 film does actor Michael Keaton star as Stan Hurley? Dunkirk, American Assassin, or The Mummy? And the answer is American Assassin. That's the answers to the quiz, and I will come back to another round of news.
Crooks steal items from home. A gang of thieves stole a haul of items from a West Lothian home before reportedly throwing them into a river. They gained entry to a property in Rendall Gardens, Broxburn, at around 2:15 p.m. on Thursday, April the 23rd. It is understood that they were travelling in a silver Audi. A number of items were taken, which had an estimated value of around £25,000. They were spotted by a fisherman on Loch End Road later the same day, throwing the items over a bridge into the River Amond. This was also seen by members of the public below the bridge who tried to recover the items. Police are continuing to appeal for information about the incident. Detective Constable Lee Manderson said, "The stolen property was of sentimental value to the victims of this theft, and our inquiries are ongoing to trace those responsible. We are keen to hear from anyone with information who hasn't already spoken to the police. In particular, the man who was fishing at the River Amond, who may have seen the suspects, or anyone who knows of their movements. In addition, anyone with relevant CCTV or dashcam footage from around this time is asked to get in touch. Anyone with information is asked to contact police via 101, quoting incident number 1334 of the 24th of April 2026.
Pregnant women can receive help. A new service to help expectant parents in the Lothians with their emotional well-being during pregnancy is being launched by NSPCC Scotland. Pregnancy in Mind, PIM for short, which is being delivered by the charity in partnership with NHS Lothian, is an online group service that supports parents who are expecting a baby with complicated feelings that can arise during pregnancy. It is designed to create a safe and reassuring space for parents in weeks 12 to 26 of pregnancy, so they can reflect on any concerns, worries, or low mood they may be experiencing. PIM encourages them to reflect on their pregnancy as it progresses and their connection to their growing baby, encourages social support with other parents-to-be, and builds confidence for when their baby is born. The programme has 8 online group sessions, usually delivered weekly for 90 to 120 minutes, from the start of the second trimester, 12 weeks, plus 2 one-to-one online post-birth sessions. The service is delivered by practitioners who are experienced in creating a warm, safe and supportive space where expectant parents can build confidence, develop helpful ways of coping, and connect with others as they navigate pregnancy and prepare for the arrival of their new baby. The service brings together a range of evidence-informed approaches, including mindfulness, relaxation, coping strategies, building confidence, and understanding emotional well-being, and developing supportive social connections. Parents do not need to be experiencing severe symptoms to take part. The service is open to those who feel they would benefit from extra support during pregnancy. Introductions by health and social care workers to the service can be made at any point up to 26 weeks of pregnancy. The mum-to-be, their partner, support person, or the baby's other parent can take part in the programme. Jen Dixon, team manager at NSPCC Scotland, said, "Maternal Mental Health Awareness Week reminds us of the importance of emotional well-being during pregnancy. When parents are finding things difficult, offering support to them as early as possible can help them feel less alone as they prepare to meet their baby. Often parents join pregnancy in mind feeling uncertain, isolated, or overwhelmed. Through the sessions, they connect with other parents who are experiencing similar feelings. The programme supports them to develop ways to improve their own well-being, leading them to feel more hopeful, confident, and less overwhelmed when their baby is born. This supports their ability to create nurturing foundations and connections with their babies from the very beginning, including during pregnancy." Alison MacDonald, Executive Nurse Director for NHS Lothian, said, "We are pleased to be working in partnership with the NSPCC to add this programme to the range of support available to expectant parents. Mental health is just as important as physical health. This service offers early, practical support to parents who need it most, helping them to give their babies and children the best possible start in life."
Homes firm win planning permission for new layout. Calla Homes has won planning permission for revised plans to develop a site in East Calder after changing road layout proposals. An initial plan for 69 homes on land adjacent to Abercrombie Gardens in Calderwood attracted 99 objections. But a redraw, cutting the number of homes and changing the access road, saw the number of objectors drop to 3. However, SNP councillors questioned whether any more homes should be agreed for the area given the existing pressures on the local GP surgery. Councillors on the Development Management Committee heard that the initial plan detailed access from Abercrombie Crescent. A report to committee added, "This proposal attracted substantial objection from existing residents at Abercrombie Crescent and Anderson Crescent. Core to the objections was the number of units and resultant impact of taking access to the site through the existing housing and the impacts that it would have on the shared surface road environment, with objectors finding it would severely harm amenity and road safety." The report added, these concerns from residents led to Cala revising the proposal. The application is now for 54 houses and 4 flats, total 58 units, a reduction of 11 units from the original proposal. Vehicular access is no longer to be taken from Abercrombie Crescent, but from the B7015 at the south of the site. The private sale housing consists of 43 units, being a mix of 3-bedroom terraced and 4 and 5-bedroom detached homes. All properties will be 2-storey in height. Affordable housing will be provided on site, consisting of 15 units, this meeting the 25% requirement. The affordable housing is a mix of 1-bedroom cottage flats, 2 and 3-bedroom terraced and 4-bedroom semi-detached homes. Councillor Willie Boyle told the meeting he had concerns about the issue of the health centre in East Calder, which is already at capacity. And he added, the local retail centre for Calderwood has now passed its delivery date. It's unacceptable. He pointed to the situation in Bathgate, where the shopping centre for Wester Inch was not brought forward until 20 years after the bulk of housing was built, and when the centre was proposed, it included far fewer retail units and more housing. Councillor Pauline Clark said, I do appreciate that the developer has listened to local people and has been prepared to change the access, but my main concern is the lack of access to healthcare. This plan means that there will be at least another 54 bodies without access to proper healthcare. However, in a vote, the committee backed the plans by 4 votes to 2.
Jab uptake hailed by Health Boss. West Lothian has bucked the trend against vaccine fatigue, which has seen fewer and fewer Scots coming forward for jabs, including flu and regular immunisation. Results from this season's vaccine programme shows an increase on previous years, councillors heard this week. Neil Ferguson, the General Manager of Primary Care and Community Services, told a meeting of the Social Work and Health PDSP, West Lothian's winter performance exceeds the national average in many of the immunisation cohorts. Overall uptake in the vaccine programme showed that among priority groups, the uptake for 75 plus age group was 24.9% in the West Lothian Health and Social Care Partnership areas, compared to a national uptake of 73%. Among care home residents, local uptake was 88.1% compared to a national figure of 80%. At the opposite end of the age spectrum, immunisation rates in the baby to 4 years age groups was 16.7% compared to a national uptake of only 9.9%. The uptake of the winter flu jab was higher in all groups than elsewhere in Scotland, with the exception of in social care staff. All age groups saw West Lothian's uptake at least 3 percentage points higher than the national average. A report to the committee detailed the groups eligible for jabs. Eligibility for the vaccines is determined by the Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunisation, who provide advice to UK governments and is used to inform planning assumptions. As with previous years, the JCVI has recommended that vaccines are provided for those most likely to benefit from them, in particular those at high risk of serious disease. Scotland's 5-year vaccination and immunisation framework and delivery plan was published in November 2024. The framework focuses on the outcomes of increasing uptake, improving population health, and reducing inequalities. Louise Blythe, the clinical nurse manager of the Vaccinations and CTAC services, said the success in turning round what has been poor uptake in recent years lay in localised clinics. West Lothian Adults and Children's Vaccination Clinic model delivers vaccination clinics that are geographically spread out across West Lothian, and clinics are based within local health centres. This model is designed to increase accessibility by ensuring communities can receive vaccinations close to home. Patients are scheduled to ensure vaccination appointments are offered at the nearest clinic to place of residence to support person-centred care. Vaccinations are also carried out in care homes and patients' own homes. West Lothian's primary and secondary school pupils are vaccinated by NHS Lothian's community vaccination team for flu within the school setting. Pupils who are eligible for COVID-19 are vaccinated by West Lothian's immunisation team. The WLHSCP delivers nasal flu within all council nurseries and is the only HSCP in NHS Lothian to provide this service. The report added, the Scottish Ambulance Services supports delivery by providing staff and vehicles to reach remote or hard-to-access groups. In addition, bespoke clinics can be organised in areas where programme and analytics indicate lower uptake. Ongoing collaboration with GP practices in West Lothian's most deprived communities has proved highly effective, and these partnerships clinics now form an established part of our delivery mould. This approach strengthens equity of access and continues to reduce inequalities in vaccination uptake across West Lothian.
And that brings us to the end of part 4. And although that brings us to the end of the news from the Courier, please stay tuned, and I will let you know when we have finally finished the recording. In Team 3 recording sessions, as I have already mentioned, we usually include, where possible, a poem or a composition written and read by one of our team. So, before we wind up our session, perhaps Ray will give us some of his compositions.
Tonight, I'd like to read you a short series of poems I wrote as part of a project, and it's 5 entitled The Ages of Man. Newborn. You come in this world all shiny and new. For fully 9 months you've been protected. Light hurts your eyes and the sounds are so loud. Your shelter is gone, there's nowhere to hide. Soon you get into your own new routine, sleeping and eating, crying and laughing. Smile for your parent, the voice that you know, eyes always scanning, you're learning to live. Already for you the shine has become dull, as if tainted by life and circumstance. You build up knowledge from all that you see. Your brain, like a sponge, stores data away. First steps on the path of your existence are unsteady, but made with assistance. Teenage years. You storm from the room with tears in your eyes. Nobody ever seems to understand. This is unique, never happened before. Just how can they know what you're going through? You feel alone. The pain of the moment cuts you in pieces, then hangs you to dry. Retreat to your room, safe haven for you. The world is unfair and now you can cry. The tears, hot and angry, spill down your face, smudging the ink as you write down your thoughts. Slowly the mist clears. You see that they're right, but wonder how things can ever go back. All over the world this scene is played out. Language may change, the angst never in doubt. 30-something. I don't care how long it's been done like this. My way is better. Let's move with the times. Technology has improved how I live, so let's just embrace it, start things afresh. Why do you say that my music's too loud? It's better than that old rubbish you play. Everything changes, so deal with that fact. I don't have the time to listen to you. You are the past and I am the future. I'll still be here when you're forgotten. So step aside and let me lead the way. I'll blaze the trail and you can eat my dust. The young are so careless, they cannot see that sooner or later they will be me. Middle age. I'm tired today. Could this be a sign? I used to laugh at my parents before. Now I can see that they maybe were right about the story of tortoise and hare. We haven't restarted, nothing has changed, despite all our noise, the sweeping aside of traditions. We thought we were brand new, but now see the old way wasn't so bad. Each generation will find its own feet, thinks it knows better, discounts the before, then looks back with hindsight, still all the same. It's human to think our new way is best. With trumpets and drums they're marching along, now muted, playing the same old sad song. Older years. I sit in my chair when morning begins. Another day's here. Will anyone call? Forgotten by children during the week, busy with lives in which I play no part. Grey hair no longer means being alone, and soon I will leave for my walking group. Tomorrow I have seated exercise, and then I have coffee with some old friends. New eras have dawned for us OAPs. We laugh at the labels given to us, smile at the horrified looks that we get when acting outside acceptable norms. Age is no longer the sentence it was. If asked how I know, I answer, because.
Thank you very much, Ray. Now, we've come to the end of this week's recording, and we hope you have enjoyed it. When you've finished listening to the recording, can I again remind you to place a USB stick in the wallet, reverse the label so that the cutout corner is at the top right-hand side, and post it back to us as soon as possible. And remember, wallets should only be posted in a post box. Do not post them in a post office. So, it's goodbye from the members of our team from
Therine,
Nan,
Ray,
And Caroline.
from Andrew, our engineer, and Ray, our distributor, and from me, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
bye.